Hey guys, Rust Belt Collector here. As you saw there, I visited the Jackson Toy Show, and yeah, it was a pretty cool event. Never been there before, but I decided to make the drive up from Ohio to go see what it was all about. Overall, pretty good show, I think. A lot of different vendors, mostly vintage toys, or like, old die-cast tractors and cars and whatever like that. But there were some good booths with like Transformers, Star Wars, vintage G.I. Joe, vintage Masters of the Universe, Mask, all the good lines. Not very much like modern stuff, but there was a little bit of everything. I think everybody could have found something there. In this video, you'll have to excuse my voice. I'm just getting over a cold. And during the cold, I lost my voice, and I sound like crap right now. So bear with me, but I'm going to show you what I picked up at the toy show today. First out of the bag, I got this little, I think he's like the homing spider droid, or something like that. 3 3/4 inch Star Wars. I thought it was really cool. I got it for $1. Less than that, because I think I bundled it with some other stuff, and the guy cut me a deal, but yep, there was that. I just thought I could use that for something. It was really cool. From that same booth, out of a different box, he just had bins of figures. I got these two more recent G.I. Joes. I think this is Wild Weasel, if I'm not mistaken. Really nice condition on the figures, surprisingly. Like, the joints are nice and tight, no accessories, but, they're still really solid figures. And then this one here is a Snake Eyes. I don't know which version or which line he came out in. I want to say maybe like Retaliation, but I could be wrong. If you do know, just leave it down in the comments down below. I can always check on like yojo.com too and figure out what he is, but I'm not too particular about what version or whatever. I just get the ones that look cool, and this is a pretty awesome looking Snake Eyes. Next up, I got this great little bundle here. The lady worked with me on the price again, and I got 3 figures for, I think it was 15 for all 3 of these, so wound out to be like $5 a piece. This one was 4, this one was 3, and this one was 10. And so 15 for all 3 is pretty good. I was happy with that deal. I think this is a Mask figure. I don't actually know. It looks like Mask. It's got the same articulation, but I didn't really pay attention to it. I just liked the look of the figure. I thought it would look good in the crossover cantina. So that's what that guy's going to be for. This guy, just a cool clone trooper. I actually really like the pre-posed clone troopers from the Revenge of the Sith line. So he was cheap enough that I was like, this would be a cool clone trooper just to have sitting around. He'll work in like the background of shots, stuff like that. So he's really cool. And then I was actually really happy to get this vintage snow trooper. This guy is in really good condition overall, in my opinion. I mean, he's played with, but his paint's all there. He's not really yellowed that badly. He's maybe a little bit off-white, but he is the cheapest snow trooper I've ever seen in this condition. There were other vendors there with lots of vintage figures, and a trooper like this in this condition would have been like 15 or even 20. So getting all 3 for $15 total, I mean, he wound out to be like maybe $8 or something. So that was a pretty good deal. I'm happy with that. And following that up, I got this guy, this Dengar with his blaster. They were asking 7. I said, hey, would you take 5? He took 5. And the main reason why I got this, I like the Dengar figure. This is an okay condition Dengar. But the main reason is because this blaster is the same one as the Snow Trooper. So I'm probably just going to display it with the Snow Trooper so that he's got a blaster to go with him. Then from another booth, I got these 2 figures. I bargained with him too. I got these for less. I don't remember how much. This is a little high for the Stormtrooper, but I really needed a complete Stormtrooper for a custom that I'm going to be working on, and this was the cheapest complete one that I could find. Oh, and actually from the same booth I got other incomplete Stormtroopers, which I will show next. But got this guy, he's a little bit played with, yellowed, but he's all there, so I'm not complaining. I just needed a complete Stormtrooper vintage to work with. So there's that. Then I got this guy. He taped the bag shut. Okay, well, we're tearing the bag then. This guy, the R7T1. I just really loved the look of this droid. I always have. I think this was originally like a Build-A-Droid, and so yeah, I don't know if this was like ever a single carded release, but yeah, it's got the same like, you know, interchangeable parts as a Build-A-Droid. So I'm assuming this is just the Build-A-Droid version. But yeah, I like this droid. I like Astromechs. I kind of try to collect all the different variations when I can find them for a good price. But the main thing is I love getting the ones that look kind of weird and wacky, and that one is perfect. I love the triangle eye. He looks like something out of the 80s, you know. Next, I got this really cool droid. Again, one that I just really wanted for the crossover cantina, or just as like a cool or weird background piece. This is like, I think, an R1 droid or something from A New Hope. The Jawas have him. And yeah, really cool. Good condition from what I know. I don't really know. He's probably not good condition, being that he's loose. I think he should have an antenna up here, but I got him cheap enough that I was like, this is going to look cool just sitting somewhere. Because that's really all it is. It is just an unarticulated piece of plastic that looks cool. So from that booth that I got this guy and the R7, I got a cheap General Veers. Needs a good cleaning. He's a little gross. I got this Stormtrooper that has seen a lot of combat. He was, you know, dirt cheap to get. I think like a buck or two maybe. And I just kind of bundled him with some other stuff because I figured he's got some good parts on him that I could use. I might try to get his torso and cast it for some customs, and his leg, and then the rest of him I might use for like a diorama piece, like a wounded soldier, something like that. Honestly, probably just based on watching too many Toy Polloi videos, I'm like, ooh, look, battle damaged Stormtrooper. I can do something with him. I can bring him back to life. I can restore him or customize him or something. And then from that same booth, along those same lines, I got these two torsos of vintage figures. Honestly, really good condition without their legs. I mean, like the paint apps and everything are really good. Sadly, this one is actually like shattered out, so I'll have to do some restructuring to actually like build that back up to get him to work again. But then this guy looks like the legs were just cut out or popped out. In fact, I think you can still see the plastic in there from where the legs, you know, maybe broke off or something. So these again are just kind of vintage custom fodder that I got. Nothing too spectacular. This was a really good deal, actually. This here is a Stormtrooper for $250. This was just sitting on a table at a vintage toy table. The guy was selling like old farm truck toys and stuff like that. And he had this for $250, and I was like, well, would you take two for it? Just because I don't want to deal with the change. And he's like, yeah, sure. So basically, this is a really good condition overall 212th Trooper, Clone Trooper, not a Stormtrooper. He does have a Stormtrooper glove, though, on this hand, which is okay because I can just swap it out with a Clone Trooper hand, and he would be complete. And I would be happy with that because it's an antenna mold 212th Clone Trooper, and you're never going to go wrong with that. So for $2, that's a really good deal. Usually these go for at least a few dollars more at a toy show. And finally, the coolest find of the day, but not necessarily the best deal of the day, vintage Kenner Boba Fett. This was the figure that I was really hoping to find today, and this was the only vendor that I saw that had him loose. There was one guy selling it with a Slave 1 for more than I was willing to pay, but this guy was selling it loose, and it's not in great condition, as is typical. If it was in good condition, I'm sure I would have paid a lot more for it, but I paid a fair price for it. Not a good deal, but not a terrible deal. But I'm happy because I just love the look of these vintage Fetts. I think they're a really solid figure. I may even collect more of these if I find them for a good deal. Just, you know, for army building, and if I find some bad condition ones, I'd actually love to do like a vintage Jango Fett, do some sculpting to add armor and stuff. Do like a vintage Jango, and then, you know, some other like vintage style Mandalorians. I don't customize a lot of my vintage figures. In fact, I hardly customize any of them, but if I find them that are in bad enough condition, I'll either decide whether to restore them, or I will use them for some sort of custom where I can actually bring some life to them, where otherwise they would just be, you know, useless. Most collectors wouldn't even give a second look to them, so, you know, I'll add them to my collection for cheap and, you know, give them a second life if I can. So there is everything that I picked up today. I think it was a pretty good toy show. If you're ever in the area around Jackson, Michigan, definitely check it out. It's a little smaller, but you know what? It's got some good stuff, as I was able to find all of these great figures there today. I think this is a really great haul. A lot of fun projects in the works with the fodder and, just some good G.I. Joes, good Star Wars, whatever that is. If you know, actually, if that's like a mask figure or something like that, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know because I don't know what he's from. He's just a cool, like, ant, like alien figure or something. As always, if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this popping up in your feed. I've got some more videos in the works, both reviews and hopefully some more bootleg videos if you liked those. Those are a lot of fun to make, so hopefully you enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them. If you've had any great hauls recently from like a toy show or a flea market, let me know down in the comments. Love to hear what you found. It's always fun hearing from fellow collectors what they've picked up in recent days. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.